Hello folks, welcome to Branson Guided Fishing Trips Weekly Fishing Report. Today's date is March the 7th, 2019. I want to give you a little bit of information on Table Rock Lake right now. They're still running quite a bit of water. They have slowed it down from what it has been. It's changed a little bit as far as the bite is concerned. I'm starting to catch a few more fish on the main lake than I have been. But for the most part, the deep bite is non-existent. I can't catch them. I can see them down there from time to time, suspended over trees, but they're not biting very good. But what is happening is a few things. In the clear water, when I'm talking clear water, I'm talking, most of the lake, from the dam all the way to Big M and all the way up past Ants Creek to Point 12 and etc. Mostly what I'm doing is I'm keying on a few different things. If I get the right conditions, clouds and wind or sun and wind, I'm catching them on a Spromic stick. In and around timber, I have got to have timber for the most part, with the exception of the smallmouth. The smallmouth seem to be in those flatter gravel pockets just off the main lake. You don't want real big ones, you just want gravel pockets off the main lake. So something you can cover fairly quick, but that tends to be where the smallmouth are at right now. I'm keeping the boat in 25 to 30 foot for the most part in those pockets, and I'm catching all my fish either on a Blue Bandit Spromic Stick 110, or the one they really like is a clear chartreuse. That is a smallmouth's favorite meal right now. Not doing anything special. I'm throwing it on 10-pound fluorocarbon, 8 to 10 second pauses in between your twitches. The other place I'm catching my jerkbait fish is in and around timber, whether it be on bluff ends, whether it be on main lake steeper points, just inside the creeks or inside the pockets. It helps if the timber's more isolated, but if you've got 4 or 5 cedars and then nothing, that seems to be where they're at. Twitch it by those cedars, kind of let it sit there, let it soak around them. That's drawn the bigger females for me right now. We've had a 7.5 and a 6-pounder in the last 4 days. So that seems to be how we're catching the jerkbait fish right now. The other thing that's working really good for us is 7/16 to 3/8 ounce jig head, just a round ball jig head. This is a Jewel Spider jig that I've painted gray, put a few eyeballs on it. Doesn't make a difference with or without it. It's just something that makes me happy. So and it's got a wire weed guard on it, and I'm throwing a 5-inch Chompers Milky White grub. This is the time of year that this milky white grub shines, and they'll bite it on gravel, just plain gravel, and they'll also bite it over the tops of those deeper trees, and that's where I'm catching a lot of the Kentuckys and even the largemouth. Seems to be the deal. I'm throwing it on 10-pound test. Throw it out there, count it down to where you can just skim the tops of those trees. Just wind it back slow and steady. When it loads up, wind him in. But Chomper Smoking White, 5-inch grip. The last thing I want to talk to you a little about in the rivers, Kings River especially has been really good over the course of the last week. Has been the James from Piney Creek to Cape Fair. The water's a little dirtier up there in those areas, especially in the Kings. And I'm catching those fish on a Spro Rock Crawler, an RK55 and an RK50. When they're deeper, I'm throwing the 55, and when they're shallower, I'm throwing the 50. The two colors, by far the best colors right now for me, have been Spring Crawl and Red Bug. Red is a good color for me in the spring. And Spro has done a good job of making a good red crankbait. But those are the two colors for me that have been working the best. If there's sun and no wind, I have been catching some on like a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce, small compact. I'm using a little small football jig or a little finesse jig of some kind. Just brown and orange or green pumpkin and orange with a green pumpkin critter craw is what I'm throwing. Any kind of little small craw bait will do the work. Keeping my boat in those areas, I'm keeping my boat in 20 foot. The bite seems to be anywhere from 14 to 18 for me, for the most part. You know, there's some days they're shallower, some days they're a little bit deeper. But that'll pretty much get you all over the lake. Water temperature for the most part is, 43 to 44 degrees, with the exception of up in the rivers. I've seen it as high as 46. We're going to have a warming trend. Things are going to start happening fast. It's a little behind right now, but with the warm days and the longer days, things are going to heat up fast and the fishing's just going to get better. So until next week, be safe, good fishing, good luck.